Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Так, я так начинаю. Так,
Mute all.
Mute all, yes. Is it now muted?
No.
No, I still want to.
Frank, you are mute too. You have to activate your microphone. Frank?
Can you hear me now? Okay, okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, I start over again. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on which part of the world you are. Before I open session 4, I would like to give the floor to an honorable guest. We have the former chairman of Remtech Europe here, and that is Anna-Paya Perez. I think most of you know Anna-Paya, and she likes to give a few words to the audience. Anna, please, I give the floor to you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you to Marco Falconi for inviting me to say hello to everybody. Now I am not dealing anymore with science because I retired, and I would like to thank very warmly Marco Falconi for taking over the role of chairing this group of uncontaminated sites and taking the role also of leading this group of Remtech Europe. So that's, and to all the scientific committee and members that I know, that like Franz Bartis and Christian Vermeyer that are here today, very happy to see all of you. So what I am most proud is that to see that this, the objective that we fixed in 2014 with the first Remtech Europe in Ferrara was to bring to this excellent conference dealing with remediation technologies, all the knowledge that it is in Europe dealing with remediation technologies and contaminated sites. So what I can see it is that I am proud of this group, and I'm proud that the Remtech Europe and Remtech Expo goes on, the work that you have prefixed in dealing in this enormous challenge this year with all the problems that everybody is facing is going on. So work is going on, and protection of environment and remediating contaminated site is going on. And we ask also the European Commission and all the countries to keep funding this research, that it is very needed for the continuation of this work. So I wish you all excellent work and excellent exchanges in these days during the Remtech conference, and good luck to everybody. Thank you very much, Marco, and to all the scientific committee and to all the participants that have joined today in this conference.
Thank you so much, Anna, for this nice introduction speech. I think that I talk for a number of people, a large number of people who are very happy to see you back and to see that you're healthy and still full of energy. Thank you very much, Anna. I hope you can stay with us for a while here at the conference.
Yes, I will stay for a while.
With these words, I'd like to open session 4 at the second day of Remtech 2020. At this session, we have some fine case studies, I believe, and we're going big. We're going big in size because we're going to talk about brownfields and landfills. Some practical issues that when you have questions during the presentations, please put them on the chat. You know from yesterday, we don't have questions at the end of the presentations, but we have a panel discussion at the end. And we will try to include your questions from the chat in this panel discussion. I'll introduce myself shortly. Frank Zwartjes, National Institute for Public Health and the Environment in the Netherlands. I work as a manager, as a scientist on contaminated land from a wide perspective. Christiane, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you, Frank. Good morning to everybody. I'm Christiane Vermeil. I work for the Swiss government at the Swiss Federal Office for the Environment, and I'm the head of the section Contaminated Site.
Jussi?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jussi Reinikainen. I come from the Finnish Environment Institute, part of the Finnish Environmental Administration, and I also deal with contaminated land management from different angles.
Okay, Christiane, let's start.
Okay, thank you, Frank. It's a pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker, Ugo Baquega, who will present us the redevelopment of a railway area with buried coal slag. Please, Ugo. You are on mute.
And please introduce yourself, Ugo, when possible.
You have to activate your microphone.
Okay. Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I am Ugo Baquega. I am the environmental manager of BBT SA, which is the promoter of the construction of the Brenner Base tunnel. The project I'm going to speak about has been conducted with the University of Bologna, Matteo Crespi and Sara Bonvicini, and with the company EcoSurvey with Francesco Caridei. The Brenner Base tunnel is going to be the longest railway tunnel in the world with 64-kilometer length. Will connect Innsbruck in Austria with Fortezza in Italy, and is part of the Scandinavian Mediterranean 10 corridor, is an important step of the European transport policy. Here we can see the geological profile of the rocks we are excavating. Now we are at half of the excavation. And you can also see the longitudinal profile, which is very important because shows how we are going to decrease the slope of the existing railway. And in the meantime, we are going to increase the capacity of freight transport of this railway line. We are going to speak about a project which has been designed for the rail station of Fortezza, which is the southern point of this tunnel. This is an old railway station from the past century and has been used for the border activities and the maintenance activities of steam locomotives. Our project is going to revamp completely this area to build new buildings and new activities for the Brenner Base tunnel. Under this construction was included also construction of underpass of the existing railway tracks, and by demolishing existing old railway buildings, we found large quantities of waste, which is coal residues mixed with partially vitrified slag. This waste is very old, has 100 years, and is connected to former maintenance activities of the steam locomotives. So, since the waste is so old, is not falling under the actual regulation of waste in Italy. Therefore, can be managed not as an abandon, not as a illegal landfill, is not a legal landfill. So we could choose between two hypotheses: soil remediation, and that has meant transferring everything to a landfill, or a permanent putting in safety of the site. To choose that, EcoSurvey conducted a site-specific risk assessment. Many surveys were carried out, geological, environmental, everything, to characterize the site. So soil and groundwater were investigated. Waste was characterized to understand which landfill was needed in case, and also the area was characterized by geotechnical and geophysical parameters. So geophysical surveys were executed to characterize the area, because the hypothesis of the putting in safety was the construction of a green barrier, a green wall, to separate the railway area from the village of Fortezza. The investigation detected hydrocarbons, polycyclic aromatous hydrocarbons, metals, but under the industrial limits. This is considered an industrial area since it's a railway area and not a residential area. Only antimony was exceeding the industrial limit. This investigation, we excavated many trenches, identified a layer of waste which is more than 5 thick, more than 5 meters. And yes, the waste was characterized as soil waste from demolition activities. And this area is very extended, is many thousands of cubic meters of waste. So it had been very expensive to dispose everything in a landfill. The risk analysis identified as human targets the on-site, the workers of the railway area, and off-site the inhabitants of the residential area of Fortezza. 6 active migration routes have been identified, and to define the size and the extension of the contamination source was applied the worst case principle, so the maximum value of the detected anomalies was taken. Here we have the results, and the risk is acceptable both for the environment and for the human life. And that was the direct mode of the risk assessment. Also, in the inverse mode, the evaluation is acceptable because the threshold concentration is higher than the representative source concentration. The remediation, therefore, was not necessary, and we designed a project with a permanent putting in safety of the site. That means that the waste which is not excavated can remain at the site, and only the waste which is going to be excavated for the underpass has to be managed, and not landfilled. Instead, can be reused at the site for refilling or for building this new green barrier. The green barrier was designed with reinforced embankments, and all the stability conditions has been verified. Here you can see a photo of the actual situation and a photo, a rendering of the future situation with the entrance to the underpass, and above is this green barrier which is going to protect the village from the railway area and particularly is going to protect them from the noise of the train, which is one of the biggest problems of this area, and one of the reasons also because we are going to build the Brenner-based tunnel. The green barrier is 200 meters long and 6 meters high. It will be planted with plants and will be greened with big attention to the biodiversity and to the native plants, because we are in an alpine area, and therefore it's very important also to include these aspects in this redevelopment project. So at the end, this choice landed us to many benefits for economy, for the environment, and for the people living in this area. For the environment, the first thing is that we converted the waste in a valuable resource, because we are going to build this barrier with the waste. We are going to save CO2 because for landfilling we had to transport with trucks all the waste to a landfill, and also disturb all the citizens with this truck traffic. This is going to be completely avoided. Then for the people, first of all, the reduction of noise is the most important thing. Also the visual impact is going to be improved. And moreover, at the top of this barrier, it will be a paved area which will be available for the municipality to organize activities there. They have not yet decided what, but these are 2,000 square meters. This will be reused. Then for the economy, we are going to save money, because the landfill of this waste had been very expensive. And so we save money, public money, because we are a public investment, and 3 million are already something. So concluding, the risk assessment allowed us to decide a redevelopment project which allows us to reuse this coal slag on site for refilling and for building a new green barrier. And this project was successful. It's not yet realized, but has been authorized. And as we try always to do with our project, we share this with the population and with the local authorities, and decide together the way to solve this problem. It's also very important because the area is all full of this coal slag, and there will be also future projects in the same area which will discover large amount of this waste. And so we already traced a smart solution to solve this problem on site. So thank you very much for your attention. And if you want to learn more about the Brenner-based tunnel project, there is the link to our Mediatek, and there is possible to see some nice movies about the tunnel construction. Thank you.
Frank, your micro.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hugo, for this excellent presentation. It seems a very sustainable solution to me, what you achieved. I give the word to Jussi to announce the next presentation. Jussi, please.
Thank you, Frank. So our next speaker will be Joachim Allen. I hope it's not Halen. I assume he's going to replace Aline Ordens, who unfortunately couldn't join today. And Joachim is gonna tell us about the thermal disruption treatment on a dioxin contaminated site at an airbase in Vietnam. So please, Joachim, the floor is yours.